Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, in fact. Welcome to this URBACT webinar on what is a thriving green urban economy. Thank you for those of you who have connected a few minutes earlier. We were having a last sound check with all the panelists and speakers today. My name is Alexandra Kluczka, and I work at the URBACT Secretariat. Before we deep dive into the subject of today's webinar, which is how to green your urban economies, which opportunities does this present and why it's important, I would like to tell you a few words about URBACT, especially for those of you who might be a bit newer and know us a little bit less. But also, we would like to get to know you a little bit, to know who you are and where are you connecting from. To do so, I would like to invite you to connect to WooClap the tool that we will be using throughout this webinar for engaging with each other and for any questions and input from your side. Of course, you are also welcome to use the chat, but this will be the more structured way of our conversation. So please scan this QR code as you see on the slide, or go to wooclap.com and type green econ. This way you will be able to follow the next questions and participate. I'll give you a moment to do just that. I see that there are some hands being up in the air. I suggest, since this is a webinar mode, we are not opening the floor yet. Since we have a lot of participants registered, we will be rather using WooClap for engagement. But perhaps in the time when we have questions to the speakers, we will perhaps open the floor. In the meantime, if you can put your questions or requests in the chat, please. Thank you. So I hope you have now well connected to WooClap. We are very curious to know who you are. Do you work for a municipal administration, metropolitan administration, city agency? Are you perhaps an urban practitioner, an expert, activist, consultant, or perhaps none of the above, and you represent a different entity or yourself? So we encourage you to vote. I don't seem to be seeing the results of the voting, so I don't know if there is any problem with that.
If I may, I don't know if I am the only one, but I'm having issues connecting. Oh, but Jenny is saying it's loading.
All right, it's saying that it's loading. All right, well, WooClap is loading. Okay.
Could you show the slide with the QR code once again, Ola?
Yes, absolutely, I will. Sorry about this technical glitch. All right, so let's try to connect again, and if not, we will find a different way to chat today. All right, let's see if it works better this time. It works now. All right. Great. Fantastic. Now we can see the results. Fantastic. Thank you. Apparently it was an issue of connection, perhaps. No matter how many times we do webinars, technology still might sometimes fail us, but glad it's working now. So we see that the majority of you work for a municipal metropolitan administration or your urban practitioners. Fantastic. You are the main target audience, but we are also very happy to see other types of participants, perhaps citizens, perhaps businesses, perhaps students, perhaps other individuals. Thank you so much for joining. We would like to now ask you where are you connecting from today? We know as URBACT we span across the continents now, really from Portugal to Ukraine, from Finland to Italy. So very happy to see your cities. Cluj-Napoca, Barcelona, Paris, Brussels, Copenhagen, Pamplona, Oxford, Budva, Sarajevo, Korydallos, Senta, Malaga, Sevilla, Trebinje. Wow, Cork, Riga, Prague. Fantastic. It's really amazing to see the diversity of presence in the room. Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you here. So let's, now that we've gotten to know each other a little bit from your side, let us present ourselves to you, URBACT. So many of you might already know us, but for those of you who are less familiar, URBACT is an EU-funded program supporting sustainable urban development in Europe through three strands of activities. The first one, the main one, is Networks of European Cities, where we fund networks of cities who work in a transnational manner on a common policy challenge. Then we have capacity building, through which we support those networks of cities with methodology, with events such as URBACT universities, but also through a variety of tools that are available to the wider public on our website called the URBACT Toolbox. As well as we capitalize on all this wealth of urban knowledge developed within those networks of cities, which we then publish on the URBACT Knowledge Hub on the website, which you can access. But we also organize a variety of urban activities, such as EU City Labs or URBACT City Festivals. And you're in fact in luck, because we have currently registrations to the next festival open, but I'll tell you about that by the end of the webinar. So please stay with us to know more. Just to mention a little bit about the networks of cities I've mentioned, we have three types of networks. Action planning networks, where cities co-produce an integrated action plan to tackle their common policy challenge. And in fact, you will hear from such networks today on how they are tackling greening urban economies. We also have networks that deal with transfer, that transfer an already tested solution that was implemented in the lead city and being transferred to partner cities. And we also have innovation transfer networks, where cities adapt an already implemented urban innovative actions project and develop an investment plan to adapt and implement it in their cities. And again, you're in luck, because we will have a next call for networks in March 2026. So please stay tuned for that and sign up for our newsletter to be the first ones to know once it's launched. So at urbact.eu/subscribe newsletter. But that is it from my side on URBACT for now. And now it is my pleasure to pass the word to Dr. Eleni Feleki, who is the moderator of today's event, and she's also the lead expert of one of our networks of cities who will be speaking today. Let's Go Circular. So she will introduce you more to the subject of greening urban economies. Thank you so much, and welcome, Eleni.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us in this webinar. My name is Eleni Feleki, and I'm the lead expert of the Action Planning Network, Let's Go Circular. This webinar has been designed to define and illustrate what is a thriving urban economy. It is one of a series of tasks organized under the umbrella of the URBACT Greening Urban Economies Knowledge Hub. Looking at our agenda today, we are going to define what green urban economy means and which are its structural elements. We will explore how European cities drive greener economies, and we will offer inspiration on how a green urban economy can be put forward by a city through examples. So to achieve this, we will start with an introductory presentation to set the ground and to define the concept. Following that, we will hear, we are still on the agenda, and we will hear, yes, thank you, Alexandra. We will start, we will hear from the 5 URBACT networks that form the Green Urban Economies URBACT Knowledge Hub. We will hear stories about actions that city partners of these networks have put forward in their effort to green their economies, having a different starting point. These stories will, on the one hand, illustrate the definition that we will have given, but they will also serve as inspiring cases that could be adapted and adopted locally. We will open the floor for questions to the speakers right after the testimonies of the 5 URBACT networks. And apart from URBACT networks and URBACT city examples, we have broadened the spectrum of organizations that are involved in this webinar by inviting ICLEI. Our invited speaker will share with us additional green economy stories from other cities apart from the URBACT cities. We can have a second round of questions to the representative from ICLEI before starting reflecting which are the next steps in order to green urban economies inspired by the stories that you will have already heard. So having introduced the agenda for this event, we can move on. And as promised, start with the introduction of the concept of green urban economies so that we build a little bit of theoretic knowledge that will help you better relate the city stories that you will hear from the networks. In webinars and in seminars that have an informative and to some extent an educational character like this one, we are used to start with the definition of the subject. This is not how we will start today. We will start by deconstructing the term. And in the next slide, you can see that the term contains, of course, 3 words, green plus urban plus economies. So we will start the deconstruction from a term that is really familiar to all, green cities. We are all very familiar with what green cities is as a subject, as the subject has been dominant in policies, in projects and funding for many years. It's concrete and it leads to reduced environmental risks and ecological scarcities. So you can see in this slide that some basic principles of green cities are related to clean energy, optimized flows of water, energy and electricity, linked to responsible consumption, environmental quality, air quality and noise, for example, infrastructure, green roofs and walls, biodiversity and nature-based solutions, high green density, and soft mobility corridors or promotion of cycle-friendly cities. Here you can see the principles of green cities, or at least the most important of them, as scattered Jenga bricks. Keep this slide in mind because we are going to build upon the fact that in the next slide, green cities, apart from reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities, they can also gear innovation. Innovation then has the power to gear green and sustainable growth, also relevant green skills and jobs, which in turn have an impact on social equity and human well-being. So green cities, innovation and sustainable growth are 3 gears of one engine that fuel a city with a green urban economy. And now we are ready to eventually read the definition of what a green urban economy is in the previous slide still. Green urban economy is one that results in improved human well-being and social equity while significantly reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. And this actually is a definition of the United Nations Environmental Programme. In the next slide, we will now see which are the pillars of a green urban economy. There are 5 pillars. First and foremost, health and well-being. A green urban economy enables all people to create and enjoy prosperity. Why? Because the green urban economy is mostly people-centered. Its purpose is to create a genuine shared prosperity. It focuses on growing wealth that will support well-being. And this wealth is not merely financial. It includes a full range of human, social, physical, and natural capitals. Secondly, but not less important, another pillar of the green urban economy is justice. The green economy promotes equity within and between generations. The green economy is inclusive, it's non-discriminatory, it shares decision-making, benefits, and costs fairly. It avoids elite capture and especially supports women's empowerment. It is based on solidarity and social justice, and it seeks a fast and fair transition. Moving on to the third pillar, planetary boundaries, the green urban economy safeguards, restores, and invests in nature. So an inclusive urban economy recognizes and nurtures the nature's diverse values. It invests in protecting, growing, and restoring biodiversity, soil, water, air, all the natural resources and systems. It is innovative in managing natural systems. So the term of innovation is key also in the green urban economy, and we will see examples about this afterwards. A fourth pillar of the green urban economy is related to efficiency and sufficiency, to resilience. The green economy is geared to support sustainable consumption and production. An inclusive urban economy is low carbon, it's resource conserving, diverse, and circular. It embraces new models of economic development that address the challenge of creating prosperity within the planetary boundaries. So these 5 pillars are not standing alone, they have cross references between them as well. The efficiency and sufficiency pillar recognizes a social floor of basic goods and services consumption that is essential to meet people's well-being and dignity, as well as unacceptable peaks of consumption. And finally, a green urban economy cannot thrive without good governance. The green urban economy is supported by institutions that are integrated, collaborative, and coherent, horizontally across sectors and vertically across governance levels. And of course, integration is one of the basic pillars, of the key pillars of the URBACT methodology, as we know very well. The good governance also requires public participation. It promotes informed decision-making for local economies and management of natural systems. It builds a financial system with the purpose of delivering well-being and sustainability. And again, we can see the cross-reference across all the different 5 pillars. So having set the definition and the principles of a green urban economy, we will now see in the next slide, which is the role of the local authorities in putting forward, in supporting, and in enabling and serving the green urban economy. Remember the principles of the green city that were scattered as scattered Jenga bricks in the beginning? Clean air, soft mobility, green spaces, and so on. So the role of local authorities is essentially to line those bricks up. And how this can be done? This can be done through setting a vision, strategic planning, and monitoring across the 5 pillars. Additionally, local authorities can make public investments in green infrastructure, for example, in renewable energy, sustainable mobility, nature-based solutions. It is also to provide regulation and incentives by, for example, using procurement, tax benefits for sustainable practices, retrofitting or reuse activities. Local authorities can provide support for local businesses and innovation, can facilitate skills development and green entrepreneurship. And last but not least, they can activate community engagement and boost behavioral changes as initiatives that in a participatory way involve citizens in a green transition. So here we can see that the local authorities can be the glue, can put together all these Jenga bricks that were scattered in the beginning by serving all those different purposes. In a nutshell, green urban economy is a city's economy that creates jobs and value while cutting emissions, waste, and resource use, so people's lives and the environment improve together. Innovation, collaboration, and sustainable urban choices are of key importance. The transition to a green urban economy requires courage, of course, and we have a bunch of courageous cities here today that will speak to you, and of course, a bunch of courageous cities that participate here. It also needs creativity and partnership, and this is why we're all here today. The opportunities are immense, and we can definitely exploit them so that cities become productive, resilient, inclusive, just and better places for people and for nature to thrive. Moving on, and as promised, we will now hear from 5 URBACT action planning networks that are at the latest stage of their journey now. Actually, next month, they are about to finish their long 2 years and a half journey, and we will hear from those networks that have they have managed to greener their economy, starting from a different starting point. So through the stories that we will hear, we will try to shed some light to the different nuances of green urban economies, reflecting the 5 pillars that all together can make a city thrive. Imagine that the stories that you will hear can act as a bunch of measures, as a pool of measures that you could adapt in your cities in an effort to make the economy greener. More specifically, these networks have fostered health and well-being by, for example, unlocking green potential of citizen action through place-based approaches. And in that case, we're going to hear from COPE. Also, we will hear from cities that have invested in nature, recycling unused urban areas using social participation tools. And in that case, we are going to hear from Greenplace. Moreover, we will hear stories from cities that have boosted efficiency and sufficiency through interventions in circular ecosystems, fostering innovative solutions and assisting local businesses, small businesses as well. And in that case, we will hear from Let's Go Circular and from EcoCore. And finally, we will hear from cities that have put forward good governance, reshaping and modernizing industrial stories. We will hear stories from InfoGreen in that case. And all those cases will be complemented by 3 additional examples that have been implemented by ICLEI. So once all the interventions are finished, you will have a QR code again, hoping that this time it will work nicely. It will be again in Google App, and you will be able to reconnect and give us your questions there. But try to keep, as we are not going to have a Q&A discussion between the interventions of these 5 networks, try to keep your questions and then feed them onto Google App. To manage expectations, we might not be able to tackle all and address all the questions today. However, we do have a platform, and Alexandra will tell you more in the end through our Knowledge Hub. We do have a platform where we can exchange with you, and we can provide with answers, but also with more insights and more resources through our hub on how to greener your economies. So off we go. The first URBACT network that we will hear from is COPE. It's an action planning network led by the city of Copenhagen. And the lead partner who is going to give us the presentation for COPE is Oystein Leonardsen. I would invite Oystein in that case.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, fine.
And my voice is loud and clear.
Loud and clear as always.
Well, next slide. So just to open the discussion or the presentation is the question, what is the network about? And COPE, Coherent Place-Based Climate Action, the abbreviation COPE, is about unlocking the green potentials of citizens' action. And we do that through a place-based approach, recognizing citizens and local action groups as fundamental stakeholders and the municipality as a facilitator. Often municipalities are seen as operators or authorities, but in this case, we are looking at ourselves as facilitators. We also have the approach, which you don't see here actually, because I think it's so fundamental that I didn't mention it in the writing, that when we are talking about unlocking the green potential, this means that we are not coming with an agenda to the public, but we are offering them an arena where their potential can be unlocked. We are offering ourselves as a mediator of different perspectives and see how they fit into overarching agendas that can realize their ideas. So next slide. As I said, we are place-based, meaning that we are not coming to, we're coming with an open mind because it's the place that will define what is the issues and what are the potentials. Whenever you come somewhere, there will always be a variety of different interests and different potentials. And the idea here is to holistically and asset-oriented to investigate, be curious, what can this place offer of opportunities? And being asset-oriented is also a little bit different from what you traditionally will see, is that traditionally a municipality will come problem-oriented, saying, oh, you have an issue here. Let's see how we can fix it with you, together with you, yes, but we have defined you as a problem. We go the other way around and say, no, you are not the problem. You have a lot of resources, you have a lot of assets here. How can we utilize that? How can we empower those energies that are existing here? And then, not the least, is that a lot of the public conversation, especially some of those who are a little bit critical towards these kind of planning methods, is because it's a black box. It's only for invited only. Therefore, we also emphasize transparency. We have to be transparent to be reliable, and also what's not said here either, but that's the whole core of it, is trust. If we want to build trust, if we want to make change, we have to be transparent. We have to respect the people who live there, and we have to accept that they have a full life, even though we may not be able to cover every aspect of what's going on. Next. So this is just a small dive. We have 8 partner cities. Each of these 8 partner cities have different approaches or different thematics, different projects, and it would be impossible to cover all of them. So I have just taken one, and that is the small town of Bistrița in the north of Romania, a town that today has a completely fossil-based mobility, meaning that everybody is driving car or scooters. Most people don't really reflect that that could be an issue, and there's really no alternatives. You can't. The public transport is not very good. There are very little bike infrastructure, etc. So they are in a dire need of change. During these couple of years where we have been working, we have changed that. We have changed that by having a multi-level governance approach, meaning that there has been local consultations, local discussions, engaging local communities, but also the municipality level and the regional level has been part of the solution, because they have also made it possible to construct the infrastructure needed. And I think we are on our way into the next, because that's where we celebrate a lot of stuff. Eleni, next. So investing in infrastructure and equipment that has been on the regional and the municipality level, supported heavily by EU grants. They have using smart solutions, meaning that the whole traffic situation is monitored, that they can inform passengers at bus stops when will the next bus arrive. They have engaged all of their schools and especially the bike community. They unlocked the local potential by seeing that there were a lot of bike associations and using them as ambassadors. They have been able also to create a shift in culture, in understanding of what is mobility. And all of that together has made the transition more easy, but also making it more easy for everyday people to make the transition, reducing the barrier to go from a more fossil-based to a more green-based economy in their local community. And that is, we need one more. And that was it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Øystein. Building trust, transparency, respect, the way that people live, and a nice example from Bistrita. But COPE is not limited there. You have very nice examples across all your cities in your network, and people who are joining us will have the opportunity to visit the great resources that you have in your network and see and get acquainted with more examples. Thank you. Thank you very much, Øystein. Thank you very much for the presentation. And now let's move on to the next network that is going to present us. We will hear from Green Place Network. And we have with us the representative of the lead partner. The lead partner is the city of Wrocław. And we have together with us Joanna Gancia-Pawełczyk, who is going to present us success stories from Green Place. Joanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joanna Gancia-Pawełczyk, and I'm a project coordinator. And I represent City of Wrocław, which is a leader of Green Place project. So let me first tell you a few words about the project and our network. So the Green Place is an URBACT network consisting of 9 partners who aim at developing a set of activities for recycling unused urban areas using social participation tools. The project takes into account not only the regional specificities and conditions of each of the partners, but also introduces greenery as a key factor in limiting climate change in urban areas. Please, next slide. We are quite a diverse network. Our partners are focused on different areas like abandoned buildings. It's a former noodle factory and a former community center, forgotten tram depots, which are 2, unused green areas and a medieval wall. And the last one is unused built areas. It's a former military barracks and post-industrial neighborhoods. And I would like to present an example from my home city, how we managed by taking small steps to make a change to improve the city and well-being of our citizens. Please, next slide. So our story is connected to a former tram depot, closed off and forgotten by people. It was built in 1901 and operating until the early 20s of 20th century. Then used only for maintenance and service purposes. And nothing was really happening there. Residents couldn't benefit from the potential of the space, the historic rolling stock and vehicles kept there, or the rich history beside its gates. So we decided to do something about it by first initiating and then taking part in the Green Place project. We started to search for local actors and talk to them. We created an URBACT local group consisting of local stakeholders. And after some time, we all came up with a common vision of the depot. We tried to keep the group motivated, meeting on a regular basis and using creative and engaging tools in our work. To determine possible functions of the depot and identify nature-based solutions, the municipality organized 2 days hackathon with a study walk. The workshops were extremely fruitful with a brainstorming atmosphere. The result of workshops exceeded our expectations. There emerged many ideas and solutions based on potential and challenges that the depot faced. The participants decided to start with opening up a green part of the depot to the public and test its integration potential. After that, a public procurement for an NGO to organize the whole process was launched. First, with the great help of volunteers, they cleaned up the site. Then they planted flowers, built a rain and community garden, as well as wooden furniture. A mural was painted to make the site visible, cozy, and beautiful. It was made by a local artist as a common vision of the stakeholder group. And finally, there was a great opening event. The place has been opened for inclusive community use, engaging volunteers in its creation and upkeep while implementing nature-based solutions. Lots of work was done, but on the other hand, lots of fun people had. New friendships, multicultural bonds, and interactions happened. People spent time together on creating the place, which now is a part of their own. Residents became interested in the place and engaged in transforming the depot then and in the future. Please, next slide. So what tools and methods did we use? So we used workshops with the residents on their vision of the depot, then inventory of the tram depot with different maps, consists of utilities, buildings, greenery, roads, and trails. 2-day hackathon with a study walk with local actors to determine possible functions of the depot and identify nature-based solutions. Then we had also an online survey for residents on needs and interests within the depot. And finally, there was a public event introducing the leisure zone called Green Boiler Hub to the public with nature-based solutions like community garden, raid garden, cozy garden furniture, all made on workshops by residents. Please, next slide. Oh, no. So, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If you want to share more slides or more insights, we are all open ears. Thank you, Joanna. Very, very interesting. The way that you've been working with the local stakeholders, citizens, NGO, hackathons, also local community garden. Thank you very much for putting all together so many actions and so many insights in a 5 minutes presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
So from just to remind you that please keep interesting points, questions that you would like to clarify, doubts that you might have or any concerns. If you would like to ask questions about costs or time plan, how long it took them to achieve these activities, any kind of questions that you might have or you might want to be addressed, please keep them, and we will give you time to feed the Google app in the end. So from Green Place, let's move on to Let's Go Circular. We have with us Wipke Borngesser, who is the project coordinator from the city of Munich for Let's Go Circular, paving the ways for circular cities. Wipke, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Eleni. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Wipke Borngesser, lead partner for Let's Go Circular. Here's our network. As Eleni already mentioned, paving the way for circular transition of cities is our motto, and we are a network of 10 partners spread across Europe, all started from very different starting points in terms of circular economy. So drafting circular economy strategies with actions that enhance the role of local authorities is what Let's Go Circular is all about. Next slide, please. So in our kickoff meeting here in Munich in 2023, we discussed what role cities could actually take in circular economy. We have, as you can imagine, a really broad topic that is covering lots of different aspects, and it's not only waste management. So to speak in a nutshell, after discussing that, we came up with three main pillars that are depicted here in that beautiful graphic that our lead expert Eleni made for us. So serving, enabling, and supporting are the three main pillars we identified. And next slide, please. I would like to give you three examples from different partner cities for those three pillars. So let's start with an example here from Munich, a circular restaurant. So for the enabling circular economy, my colleagues are currently looking into a procurement guideline for a circular restaurant. The idea is to integrate circular economy principles in the procurement guidelines for the city's own canteens and restaurants. And they are not only looking at obvious things like food, but also into interior furnishing, electrical appliances, and also the tenants' commitment to implement those circular criteria elements. Because usually there's still a big lack of awareness for even existing market solutions that could be contributing to implement more circular elements. Very much is still done in the old way, conventional way. For the supporting part, we have an example from our colleagues in Lisbon, circular neighborhoods. Here, a digital tool or web page is used to showcase circular businesses in a neighborhood or neighborhoods. It's a platform to connect the residents or even the visitors with those businesses in order to stimulate also the demand, of course. And the businesses also receive the certificate for the circularity performance. The third example we have is for the servicing circular economy. This is the bike hospital in Granada in Spain. Here's a very interesting idea to combine local actors because in the bike hospital case, we have, for example, the police that collected unused bikes in Granada. Then we have a group of students that actually fix them with the help of local businesses who have contributed spare parts. And then we have a second group of students who actually programmed an app in order to make the bikes usable for the public as shared bikes. So this is a very good example of how you can also bring together very different actors. So going to the next slide, you can see that yes, thank you. That we use a lot of different tools and methods behind our three examples. By the way, they are all so-called testing actions. These are actions that the cities carried out in the or still carrying out in the last couple of months. So in the case of Munich, the circular economy procurement guideline, it's very important to work closely together with the suppliers and also ask them to evaluate how comprehensible and feasible tender requirements should look like. In the case of circular neighborhoods in Lisbon, use or even updating existing tools is a very obvious tool you could use. And it's also important to evaluate the interest in participation beforehand, of course, in the case of the businesses that we mentioned here. And in the case of the bike hospital, now there was an app or is an app available that can track down the number of bikes, and also you can calculate CO2 reductions, because Granada, the trigger for setting up this measure was the poor air quality, and they wanted to find a way to make people not use their cars so much. So These examples are all part of our testing action compendium. I will put the link in the chat so you can look it up on our website. There are many more examples from our 10 partner cities. They are all not maybe directly linked to urban greening economies, but they might be inspirational for you. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Wiebke. Very interesting examples, very well linked to the greening urban economies. As you can all see, we have tried to select adaptable and adoptable cases so that you can take something away, something that can be applied locally in your city contexts. So from Let's Go Circular, let's move on to EcoCore and to the project coordinator. The lead partner is Balbriggan, Fingal in Ireland, represented here by Aoife Sheridan. So Aoife.
Thanks, Eleni. Hi, everyone. As Eleni said, my name is Aoife Sheridan. I work for the municipality of Fingal, which is just to the north of Dublin, the capital city of Ireland. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the EcoCore network, which is made up of 9 small cities across Europe. Our cities are all small cities with industrial areas located along strategic transport corridors. Some road, some rail, some with major airports and some with major ports. Many of our cities are in the shadow of major neighbouring cities, which can draw focus and investment away from our small cities, a major challenge. In EcoCore, our cities are focusing on accelerating the green transition and leveraging our position close to major cities and along strategic transport corridors. EcoCore seeks to build capacity within the municipality and with key stakeholders at local and regional levels to address climate change, with a particular focus on industrial areas. EcoCore seeks to promote the sustainable economic development of these industrial areas through climate positive planning and design, and aims to establish partnerships between the municipality and local businesses to develop and deliver projects which advance the transition to low carbon energy sources and sustainable mobility options. Next slide, please. EcoCore's 3 key takeaways are, firstly, what municipalities can do to lead the green transition. EcoCore partners have explored the use of green procurement criteria for infrastructure projects, carbon calculators to determine the impact of development, and various sustainable mobility pilots in the industrial areas. The second is the value of active engagement with business stakeholders, which has been a key lesson for my municipality. You can learn a lot from talking to your local businesses, what their challenges are, what opportunities there are to work together to address local challenges. Finally, Ireland is well known as a country of storytellers, and we've certainly found this to be true in EcoCore. Too often municipalities are so busy doing the work that we forget to tell people what we're doing. Sharing the stories of the EcoCore project and the sustainability journeys of our local businesses has proven to be a very powerful tool. Next slide. I'd like to share 2 interventions by cities in the EcoCore network. The first by my own municipality in Fingal, where we focused on the town of Balbriggan. Balbriggan is considered a dormitory town, comprised of about 27,000 people. Many people leave the town every day to work in the city, and there are few businesses to offer local jobs to the people. Through EcoCore, we started to engage with local businesses for the first time. We learned about the challenges they had overcome and were still experiencing as they tried to implement sustainability in their businesses. Their stories were incredibly inspiring, and we started to tell those stories in video case studies and in business briefings to inspire other businesses to start their own sustainability journeys. The briefings allowed businesses to interact and learn from each other and from those who had been there and done that before, raising awareness of what can be done. The briefings also allowed businesses to engage with education and training stakeholders to learn about upskilling and reskilling opportunities. The drive and ambition we encountered from businesses has inspired our municipality to develop a new sustainability strategy to help us work better with businesses to advance the green transition. The second intervention I'd like to talk about was an event organised by the municipality in Pärnu, Estonia, where they brought together local decision makers and multi-level, multi-sectoral stakeholders to build strategic collaboration and drive green projects in the city and across the region, leveraging new logistical and production opportunities. The success of the event has resulted in the municipality deciding to develop the event into an economic forum with annual meetings, providing businesses with the opportunity to directly engage with the municipality on important projects and issues. Parnu are already planning their next event, which will focus on how education stakeholders and industry can work together to address labour market shortages in key sectors. Next slide. The EcoCore cities have used URBACT tools and methods to help drive business engagement. All the cities have done hackathons, posing important local challenges to stakeholders and asking them to bring new perspectives and ideas into developing the solutions. In Balbriggan, our hackathon focused on how we could develop the circular economy in our municipality, with the winning team now developing a feasibility study on a circular economy digital platform and hub for construction waste. Fingal also participated in an EUI city-to-city exchange with Nokia in Finland, so we could learn best practice from the Eco3 Green Innovation Park and bring that knowledge back to share with our network. We followed through on the importance of telling the story of the EcoCore network by developing the EcoCore podcast, which is a series of 5 podcasts where our cities talk about the things we've done as part of the project and what we've learned over the last 2.5 years. I hope some of the people attending the webinar today will listen to our podcast and learn a little bit more about the work of the EcoCore cities on the green transition. Thanks, Eleni.
Thank you, Ife. Thank you so much. And I certainly encourage everyone to follow the podcasts. They are super interesting, very dynamic, very well done. We can already see some trade-offs between and synergies between the stories that we've heard. We've heard about hackathons, both from Green Place, but also from EcoCore. EcoCore is also focused on circular economy. We talked about, one of the webinars of the hackathons had as a topic circular economy, as you mentioned. Circular economy is the topic also for Let's Go Circular. So many synergies, many trade-offs. That's very, very, very nice. Thank you very much, Ife. Let's now move on to the last but not least intervention. We are very pleased to have with us the Councillor of Economic and Urban Development of Avilés in Spain, Manuel Campa, who is representing the InfoGreen URBACT network. So, Manuel, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to represent the URBACT InfoGreen network and the city of Avilés here today. Our story is about how small and medium-sized industrial cities across Europe are finding new ways to make their economies greener, smarter, and more inclusive, starting from their industrial areas. Can you please next slide? InfoGreen is an European urban network that connects 10 small and medium-sized industrial cities from Spain, Ireland, Poland, Czech Republic, and beyond. Our sole goal is to reshape and modernize local economies, helping cities drive the green transition through innovation, collaboration, and sustainable industry. We work in 4 areas: green and industrial zones, improving infrastructure and attracting green investment; circular economy, promoting industrial symbiosis and reducing waste; digitalization and innovation; and climate neutrality. Through peer exchange and action planning, cities are designing concrete solutions that combine governance, business collaboration, and sustainability. Can you please next slide? Oh, no, the previous one, please. For InfoGreen, industrial areas are not a problem. They are the opportunity. They concentrate jobs, infrastructures, and innovation potential. But they also represent most of the emissions and resource consumption in our cities. Our entry point is simple: improve how we govern and collaborate in these areas by creating stronger partnerships between public institutions, companies, and citizens. Together, we can modernize our industrial zones with greener infrastructure, circular solutions, and clean energy. And now, the next slide, please. Let me illustrate this with the story of my city, Avilés, in northern Spain. Once, Avilés was one of Spain's great industrial areas: steel, shipyards, heavy manufacturing. But after the industrial crisis in the 80s, the city faced pollution, unemployment, and an urgent need to reinvent itself. In 2015, we launched what we call the Avilés Innovation Model, a long-term framework for public-private collaboration. As it's here, the Isla de la Innovación Science and Technology Park, a flexible hub that connects companies, research centers, and university. Every year, this ecosystem delivers actions such as innovation forums, STEAM programs to inspire young talent, training for companies on European funding and sustainability, and strategic working groups designing our city's transition toward 2030. The results speak for themselves. In just 6 years, now we have 8 new R&D centers. Now we have 10 in total. Avilés has become a benchmark in industrial innovation in Spain. A city once known for pollution is now recognized for green energy, new materials, and innovation. And the last one, please. Behind this success, there's a clear method, and URBACT has been key in shaping it. We build a public-private governance model, bringing together the City Council, the University of Oviedo, R&D centers, and local companies. The Science and Technology Park became our physical hub, a real place for collaboration, experimentation, and visibility. Through the URBACT method, we work with local groups to co-design these actions, learn from other cities, and make the transition measurable. We also invest in education and knowledge transfer because the green economy is ultimately about people, their skills, creativity, and confidence to innovate. And we link everything to the Avilés urban agenda, ensuring continuous evaluation and alignment with long-term sustainability goals. Our main lesson is simple: collaboration works. When public institutions, companies, universities, and citizens share the same vision, even small cities can lead big transformations. In industrial areas, one seems as grey and outloaded, one seems pollution, can become laboratories of the green transition. That's what the InfoGreen is proving across Europe, city by city and project by project. Thank you, and I wait for your comments.
Thank you so much, Manuel. Thank you so much. We've seen, I think, through these 5 interventions from different cities, we've seen how indeed the local authorities can serve their role in greening urban economies. Manuel, you talked about the strategic agenda, the green agenda. So we talked about the importance of having a strategic vision. And you said that collaboration works. So and participation. So another important pillar is participation and collaboration between the different stakeholders. We saw examples about the importance of procurements and benefits. So all these examples, I think, are very indicative of the role that cities can play, that local authorities can play in creating greener urban economies. So having heard from all these, from these 5 networks, thank you so much to all the presenters and the really lead experts behind, of course, that have been helping them to develop their contributions. We would now invite you, as announced before, to reconnect to WooClub. We will give you a moment in order to give you the chance to ask your questions to presenters. So it would be nice to mention to whom you would like to address your question among the 5 speakers, or myself, in case something was not clear from the introductory presentation. And we can have a very short discussion before continuing on with the presentation from the representative of ICLEI. We'll give you a moment to What are the other topics, themes, except for mobility, COPE cities worked on? Boystein, would you like to pick this up while we see more questions or comments coming in? Boystein, or yes?
Yeah. Just to find the right button to press. Well, the list is long. We are 8 cities to start somewhere here in Copenhagen. we have worked with circular economy from a more consumer-based perspective, meaning constructing local recycle centers in some disadvantaged neighborhoods. We have been working with trash sorting to support the citywide circular economy system. We have been working with heat efficiency in estates, urban gardens, and I think 6 or 7 other thematics are under the way. So that's just Copenhagen. In Vilnius, they made a call for local communities, and they had replied from I think 20-25 different communities, and they have consolidated some of their work around local recycle cafes, small startups, aquaponic systems. They have been working with local urban gardens. They have been working with art, a wide variety of initiatives in Pombal. They have been working very much on their inner city, on greening their urban core, but also with mobility, like we saw it in Bistrita, in Kavala. They have tried to engage communities around public squares, public places, turning them turning them into to be in Greek agoras of local green initiatives. In Korydallos, they have inherited an old empty school building that they are going to make a green innovation hub for college kids. In Saint Quentin, they have also been working a lot on urban gardens and engaging communities in transforming parks into urban gardens, but also also embedding social initiatives, creating a more inclusive space for disabled. Am I missing someone? Probably is, but there you have a variety of initiatives.
Very nice range. I think that we can take only one more question, and then, as promised, we will respond to everyone. We will address every question here through our hub. Maybe this one for Manuel, since we have the possibility to have the counselor here. So for Manuel and others, basically, but also other speakers, in how many years can we change an industrial economy to a green urban economy? There is something more maybe that is said, but it's cut. Yes, you got what indicators. That's the very big elephant in the room. I don't know if I had the opportunity to read the whole of it. I don't know if I would bring it to the room, but what indicators can we use to prove that shift? Manuel, do you have any quick response to that? And then we can move on to Vasily. Manuel or Jose, maybe?
Yeah, sorry, Eleni. It doesn't seem we have Manuel anymore in the room.
Okay.
I don't know if he has any connection issues.
Okay.
But just to say, answering to this question, that Aviles municipality, they have been working for many years in this green transition in their city. They have been working for the last 2 decades in cooperation with all the industries and other stakeholders. So this is a long-term process. Nothing is going to happen just in a few years. But you know, the best moment to start is right now. So if you haven't done so, you know, we encourage you to do it.
Thanks.
And in relation of the indicators, Lenny, of course, well, there are many indicators to be used. You know, we have been working in InfoGreen and also in EcoCore and try to define what we understand for greening industrial zones in terms of energy, in terms of mobility, in the use of water, in terms of green infrastructure, but also in terms of the activities of the industries that are placed in the industrial zones. So something, you can measure, but I couldn't say just one or two indicators, but it depending on the aspect, because the green transition is something quite broad.
And indeed, there was another question as well about indicators to monitor green urban economy. That's a nice hot topic. We were discussing about indicators to measure sustainability and green cities, environmental sustainability a few years ago, and now the discussion moves on to the green urban economies measurement and assessment. That's very interesting, and we can see what we can do in order to help you achieve that. Anyway, we will get back to this nice board. Thank you for all your questions, but for the sake of keeping the time and being able to engage with all of you, keeping the time as we promised, I will now move on to Vasily. Vasilis Latinos is the head of resilience and climate adaptation in ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, and he will share some additional stories tackling the 5 pillars of greening urban economies from his experience and from ICLEI's experience. So Vasily, thank you for being with us, and your floor is yours.
Thanks a lot for the invitation, first of all. Just to say a couple of words about ICLEI first. So ICLEI is one of the biggest, sorry, it's the biggest actually city and region network around the globe. Of course, I'm working in the European office. We work with more than 210 members in Europe, in more than 35 countries. So what we do with our cities, with the member cities, that we try to also like engage them and exchange with peers through the global network of ICLEI. We bring them to European international stages. We work together also with other cities. We do like this peer-to-peer learning. We bring innovative tools with technical assistance. Also, like we give them like up-to-date, let's say, resources with projects that we work with. And also, of course, we do communications, outreach, and events. If you can move to the next slide, please. So ICLEI, as a global network, works with these 5 interconnected pathways. So low emission, nature-based, equitable, and people-centered, resilient, and circular development. So we always see like the projects that we work with us working in more than one pathway. So we try always like to see how we can basically bring the different topics together. And we always have like this integrated approach with also like stakeholder engagement and also like bringing like the individual projects and initiatives oriented along one or more of the specific pathways. Next one, please. Yeah. So what is our entry point to greening the local economy? We work a lot, of course, with nature-based solutions. We work a lot with like green infrastructure. And what we do is like we try to lead, let's say, the change with integrated and multi-level governance. One of our main tools, it's also working with local and regional stakeholders in developing and implementing local green deals. And actually I have also like an example that I can share with you just after. And also then also like working with stakeholders, connecting and then accelerating the progress and the action, the climate action in the city, in the local level. Next one. So I have like picked like 3 examples from ICLEI member cities. One of them is the city of Mannheim. So the city of Mannheim, actually it is also like a city that is very much connected into greening the economy. They work also like in the city center, which is actually one of the most diverse, but also a bit deprived neighborhoods. Residents live there in rented flats. They have like a high risk also of energy poverty and also like less access to green and healthy spaces. The center of Mannheim, if you have been there, it is like quite urban. It is like quite dense. It is like also like very, let's say, a lot of gray infrastructure instead of green. And there is a lot of challenges, heat stress, also like fragmented ownership of the buildings, of the flats and the spaces. Also like the surfaces are also like impermeable. this word I never can manage to say. And also like there is also like a lot of competition for the space, who owns the space, who will also like do activities in the space, and also like a lot of pollution. So if you can move the next one, please. So there is an ongoing pilot project in the city, which is also like aiming in setting up a collaborative platform, which is called House of Change for the inner city, which also goes beyond the joint planning, that brings also together city administration, stakeholders, and citizens. The city administration, of course, is the one that is also like very much progressing and leading on this. And within the project, the plan is also like to develop a simulation game in an agile format, where actually citizens and stakeholders can come together, they can identify the goals for the neighborhood, and they can also recognize their contribution to what they can achieve. I mean, you can see also like I have included also a couple of links here, which if you can Google them, then you can also see a bit more about the project. There is, of course, as I said, there is the city involved leading this, but then we have also like a couple of partners apart from ICLE Europe, of course, leading this, which is also the Creative Climate Cities. It is a consultancy based in Berlin, but also working with German cities. And then, of course, there will be also like in the progress. This is also like a project that started only last year, very ambitious, and in the process, there will be also like another partner leading the work in the city involved. The next one. So the city of Sarajevo, I wanted also like to choose a city that is also not in the EU, which also means a different game, let's say there. So the characteristic, of course, the city, there was a construction boom prior to the 1984 Winter Olympic Games. There was also like a lot of residential high-rise buildings that also open towards large open spaces. And then there's also a great potential there for climate change adaptation measures and the community life. There are challenges, of course, in the city. There's a growing population. It is the capital, of course. There is very dense, also very urban, very gray, again, infrastructure. And then there's also like poor quality of urban spaces. And then there is also like always, and we've seen it also like in the last couple of years, both flooding has been like an issue, but also like the heat stress. Next one. So in the pilot project that actually we're implementing, the project is called Commit to Green. So you can actually go online and see more. So the city develops a plan for the urban rehabilitation of green spaces in this neighborhood here that I included, and then applying also a new approach and innovative solutions to development of green spaces, while considering also ecosystem service, but also bringing the citizens together in a participatory format. So the location has been also like selected together with the community to develop a pilot, and the plan is also like to redevelop also the rest of the area around the selected space. The partners also you see here is the Sarajevo Canton, the Center 21. It's also like a citizen engagement NGO working with the citizens, but also like we are also planning to bring another partner on board. And last but not least, next one. The city of Vejle in Denmark. So the plan in Vejle, it is also like a smaller city in Denmark. Coastal, the Vendesgalde Street in the center of Vejle is also situated close to a stream, to a canal. And it's also like one of the few remaining, let's say, cultural heritage streets in the city. And there is also like a mix of Danish, but also like immigrant communities, young families, students. Again, there, one of the main challenges is flooding, but also like there's like, even in a small city like that, there's also like heavy traffic. And the next one. So what we do in the pilot project there, we apply innovative multifunctional solutions with cloud-based roads. It's actually in the project, it's actually one of my favorite, this one, which also like creates like these canals for rapid drainage of water on the terrain. And then also like in the same time, also like developing recreational spaces, bringing more like the recreational value, let's say, of the space, connecting the community, and also like somehow also like enhancing tourism and bringing also like the visitors in the area. So the upgrading of the street also aims to motivate, of course, the local owners, the local investors to develop more businesses there, to renovate, and also to beautify, let's say, the properties and the private outdoor areas. So here we have the Vaile municipality, the Aarhus University, and again, in the next year, we are planning to bring another partner in.
Thank you
Thanks
very
a lot.
much. Thank you, Vasily. Thank you very much. And here you have another opportunity to give address a question to Vasily again using the Google App application. As you will be providing your questions, which again, as mentioned before, will be addressed also later after the webinar through our platform. We wanted to give you a whole spectrum of actions of different scales, from small testing actions to bigger actions, and this is where ICLEI came. So let's take this one, Vasily. How are residents engaged in the Sarajevo project?
Sorry, I was muted. So first of all, we developed like a survey, so to understand what they need from the redevelopment project, to see what are the needs, what are like the problems, what they would, let's say, how they could benefit more. And then we are also like developing like workshops. We have also like let's say like a training workshop also like planned for in a couple of months from now, where basically we're gonna also show them what they can do for the city, for the pilot area, and also like together with the different groups that we will bring on board, that we try also like to see how basically the redevelopment project can actually also like address the needs of all the different groups.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Vasily.
This is what ICLEI does. We bring people together in workshops. We bring people together to talk. We exchange basically with both people and stakeholders, citizens and stakeholders.
Thank you very much, Vasily. We will move on to another Google App now, but that's what we would like to get out of you. What would be your next move to accelerate greener urban economic development in your local context? What would be your next move? We would like to see how you were inspired by all those examples, if you were inspired. Search today's inspirations. Okay, that's great. Also, please add your city next to your response so that we can have a nice map of your responses, and maybe also use this nice infographic in the upcoming Green Urban Economies article that we will draft and launch. Anything else apart from sharing today's inspirations? Something more practical, maybe more hands-on? Maybe working together with Geneva. Remove cars from the city center to reduce CO2 and foster active mobility. Create a task force on the topic. Perfect, very nice. Engage businesses more, indeed. Nice. Nobody's touching the issue of indicators. You had some concerns and doubts about how to measure it, but nobody says we would like to develop a platform in order to measure green urban economy. Explore collaborative platform in Mannheim. Create a task force. Engage citizens from Pamplona. Promote energy communities. Build capacity on engagement from a lead expert. Define indicators, indeed. Develop relationships with multi-level stakeholders. Copenhagen, replicate the green local economy. the green transition plan. Great. Circular business and product, circular market demand. Nice. Look at the vacant and derelict sites, unused spaces, indeed. So thank you so much for all your for staying with us and for all your contributions. All the initiatives collectively present a holistic vision of advancing circularity, sustainability, and community well-being in cities. Together, the actions we've heard today illustrate a comprehensive approach to healthier communities, greener urban landscapes, more efficient local economies, and forward-looking governance. We want to keep the conversation going, and we have a platform for that. So I will now, just conscious of the time, I will pass on to Alexandra because she would like also to share some last announcements with all of you. So Alexandra, back to you, and thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Eleni, and thank you so much to all our speakers for all this inspiration. I definitely feel enriched in knowledge and inspired by all the great work you do on the ground. So coming back to practicalities, indeed, even though the webinar is coming to an end soon, not yet, please stay with us. We have a few calls to action. The conversation will keep on going. We have indeed a knowledge hub, a dedicated space to which I will invite you in a moment. But just before that, we would like to know how useful was this webinar to you today. We would like to know whether this webinar increased your knowledge on greening urban economies or not. So if you could kindly still connect to WUCLAB to give us this feedback, which is very useful for us in designing future activities, that would be great to have your feedback. I'll give you a moment. Happy to see that so far everybody feels that their knowledge has increased. We are happy to see that. Thank you so much to all the speakers, all the cities, all the URBACT cities and ICLEI for sharing their stories, and to Eleni for the introduction on the topic. All right, I see that still more people are connected to WUCLAB, so that's why I'm pausing to give you one last chance to vote because it's very helpful for us. All right, thank you very much. We are very happy that this has been a useful experience for you, and it will keep us motivated to provide similar opportunities in the future. So as Eleni has mentioned, indeed, an article on the subject is coming. So make sure you are monitoring URBACT.eu and that you subscribe for our newsletter, as mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. But also we have this specific community of the Knowledge Hub on greening urban economies on a platform called Basecamp. Therefore, if you would like to have your questions answered, the ones that you have posted on WUCLAB, which we will gather and respond to, if you would like to find out about the next activities, connect with the cities involved in the Knowledge Hub, please contact us at communication@urbact.eu, and we will make sure to promptly add you to that space. So I'll give you a moment to maybe take a picture of the slide if you wish, or just write down communication@urbact.eu so that you can contact us for joining the community. In any case, as mentioned, this webinar is being recorded and will also be uploaded on the URBACT website and disseminated after the webinar. And last but not least, one more call to action. You will also have the chance to meet the community on green urban economies, but also the wider URBACT community at the 2026 URBACT City Festival. And indeed, the registrations are now open. The event will take place in Nicosia, Cyprus, from the 31st of March to 1st of April next year. And you will be able indeed to see both the results of those 5 networks of cities you have heard from today, but also of the other 25 networks working on sustainable urban development in Europe. So a lot of inspiration to grasp. Therefore, register here at urbact.eu/City Festival 2026. Make sure to register fast to secure your spot. And well, that is it from us. Thank you so much once again, Eleni, Ife, Joanna, Manuel, Oystein, I really don't, Vasilis, and I'm pretty sure I forgot somebody. So thank you so much to all our speakers for your valuable contributions. And we will and Vipke, yes, I knew that I forgot somebody. Thank you all so much. We keep the conversation going, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.